Swain Leona. So this is an aggressively slanted mid-range deck as well that goes a little bit bigger than the last one that we're playing. So the Daybreak package, in my opinion, is one of the best ways to play an aggressively slanted mid-range deck in Runeterra. So the Daybreak mechanic gives you a bonus if it's the first card you've played in the turn. And Leona explicitly cares about you playing lots of Daybreak things. So if you've activated Daybreak 4+ times, she levels. And then her leveled mode doles out stuns every time you play a Daybreak card. The rest of the Daybreak package, Solari Soldier and Solari Shieldbearer, are great cards that allow you to apply pressure against control decks and other mid-range decks, while also being great stat-lined bodies against aggressive decks in the format. The very top of our curve is 3 copies of Leviathan as well as Captain Pharaon to give us some closing power in the mid to late game. And this deck is notably playing 3 different champions because unlike most Swain decks, Swain is often paired with Bilgewater or PNC to level him up very quickly. This is a deck that frequently doesn't level Swain until turns like 7, 8, 9, 10, as opposed to leveling him almost immediately when you play him. And because of this, we frequently don't want to draw Swain until we're Leviathaning. So we're playing only 2 actual copies of Swain, but with Leviathan, we have 5 virtual copies to find him consistently. And then I'm a Zoe main, so I have a cheeky Zoe in here as our 6th champion is just like another good card. Speaking of leveling Swain, Broadback Protector is actually one of the sweetest and best target ways to level Swain, so he deals damage to himself to heal your Nexus every round. So this gives us a good buffer against aggro, which is one of the reasons why we can play so much top-end cards like Broadback Protector really help keep us alive in the early game, and then him hurting himself also helps level up our champion. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how this still feels in the format. All right, Aesol Trundle, probably Targon's Peak, which means the Scorched Earth sounds great. I'm going to keep Shieldbearer and Leona, because I would assume that we're the beatdown in this matchup, so curving this into our Daybreak champion sounds lovely. Honestly, it could have been right to mulligan this too, looking for another 1 or 2 drop to start. The boot! Thank you for the 13 months, I appreciate the prime, welcome back. Nailed it!
Ours is the one true light.
This is a particularly bad drop. So we played a little bit of Swain Thresh that felt okay-ish. It was one of the highlight videos on my highlight channel. I think that's the closest thing to a competitive Thresh deck I've played in recent memory.
The dawn has arrived.
Carry her light across the mountain.
Someone asked me about someone had asked me about Thresh Lux is a deck that we had played a little bit of in the past. And that's one I hadn't thought about for a while, but that one could be sweet to revisit. So I could flock to kill one of these. However, I want to be able to Daylight Spear plus Scorched Earth their Targon's Peak next turn, so I want to save my spell mana here. I'm going to try the new Path of Exile League. I have never played Path of Exile. Path of Exile is the Diablo 2 like game, yeah. Yeah, as I've gotten older, I like games like Diablo a whole lot less. Games that integrate grinding, gear as one of their core features don't really hold my attention anymore. I don't find them particularly enjoyable. I'm gonna go ahead and flock this, I think, since I didn't have peak this turn. NHL 2021. I do not do sports other than Raid. Well, so Raid grinds things as a feature, but Raid is basically an idle game, right? So like, you're right, I do play an unhealthy amount of Raid Shadow Legends, but that game kind of auto-plays itself for the grinding aspect of it. And like, the actual combining gear on your units and building optimal gear, I find that interesting, but just like having to mindlessly click constantly on things isn't something that really engages me anymore.
Behold the sun's holy light.
Quite the stunning turn here.
The trolls are going to war! Ready when you are. Always ready.
And remember, it's always sunny in Runeterra here. So we get Zenith Blade there, and then this stuns this.
The light's radiance.
To the sun!
Soul
Good example of our ability to apply pressure via the Daybreak package in our first game there. Touch of interaction. Yeah, I agree, Moist Succulent. I think a lot of people enjoy grinding for gear, and that's fine. I'm glad that's something that people enjoy. But for me personally, if I'm playing a non-card game these days, generally I'm looking for a good story. Tom Kench Lux. All right, you've piqued my attention. I think I keep Scorched Earth here as a way to kill Tom Kench.
Ours is the one true light.
Old man legs are starting to cramp. Yep. Probably unyielding Kench, yeah. Which kind of sounds like gasoline.
Heretics.
Remember, the Demacia cards that allow you to capture things also technically work with Kench, right?
Transgressions.
Things like the 5 mana capture a unit. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but Plaza can GTFO.
I've been propagating quite the appetite.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Yeah, I think that would be a fine submission, Licart. That's not something that's really been explored all that much.
Don't require a menu.
I don't require a menu.
Devotion to battle.
Yeah, I think I'm happy throwing away a 2 to mark some damage on this and hit them here.
Friend.
Or low key, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Sunward.
That was it was a firm maybe, Seth. If we're still above 600 people an hour from now when we finish this deck, we'll do it. We'll do your gauntlet today.
Excuse my impertinence.
My viewer count tends to drop off in the afternoon, so if we drop below that, I'm gonna switch to what's it called? I'm gonna switch to Witcher. I gotta double check with the boss before I post my schedule for next week, but I think I'm going to be live tomorrow morning is the plan.
I've got your back. The dawn has arrived. With its light, the Solari will unite the heavens.
Oh, that wasn't Daybrook in, right?
Let us peruse this establishment's fare.
They could technically level Kenshir with the 5 mana fast speed capture a thing.
Clad in shining sunlight. To shine like the sun,
You must burn like it. Probably going to Fervor here. Which gives me back my Solari Soldier. Yeah, Shield Bearer is very good with Fervor, and Fervor gives you half of Swain's level up, which is great.
They will not escape punishment.
Yeah, I think that's the play, right? We get an invoke again here. And like I have these rolled up here as well. Again, kind of showing off where you can put 2 things on the stack simultaneously if one's a fast spell. So they're gonna get a chance to deploy a unit here, but my board's pretty big. This will be stunned. We'll have a solid attack here.
sunlight blind.
It's obviously possible, like, Leona's Morning Light has been fantastic in these games. It's very possible that, like, playing an actual copy is right. Yeah, in my experience from doing Magic content, MTuck, making chat sub only tends to increase the amount of subscribers I have by a small amount, but it also reduces the viewer count by a bit. So, I think that's a fine trade-off. Alright, so discard aggro. We're going to want to mulligan appropriately here, looking for our low end. Wow, this is like actually pretty close to perfect. If we mulligan this into a Solari Soldier, it's like just the actual factuals. Sure, I'll take a Zozo. Is viewer count monetized? Is it ad money or something? There's technically a non-zero amount of ad money for viewer count, but to give context, it's like single-digit percentages of my income. The bulk of my money that I make doing content is from subscribers. I think we just Spider to match their Spider here. Having this to play to Stonewall and Jinx or a Dream later can be valuable. In order for ad money to turn into like actual income that can pay your bills, you need to be averaging like five digits worth of views on YouTube videos per day, or like, you know, mid 4 figures on Twitch, like, not mid, low 4 figures, like 1 to 2,000 viewers consistently. You can get some reasonable ad revenue. Huh. Honestly, Moon Silver might be a take. I guess Doggo pairs well with this. Hey gamer, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm not gonna attack with this. I don't want to offer this attack into here. I'm fine with this trade though. That seems like a great exchange for us. Opponent playing defensively is good overall. Now, no extra strict upside for chatting. If you don't have anything to say, don't ever feel obligated to do that. Are we just Leonaing? I feel like I want to play a 4-drop here. Yes, the viewer count helps with exposure and finding new people, because the way most people watch Twitch is they just click on whatever the top channel is when they open a game category. So like, if someone's looking to watch Runeterra and they open their following list and there's no one that they already follow on, they'll open the Runeterra category and generally click on one of the top 2 to 3 people that are currently streaming and see what they're like.
Oh, it is a great day for a reckoning.
I think I'm just playing a 2-7, right?
Everyone here, let's go.
Looking to dodge crowd favorite here.
I salute you. The heart's as big as his biceps. It's the seed.
A really good open attack here for them. I think we're throwing Leona under this bus, because that means Flock can kill him.
Touch my flock.
And then second Broadback here is actually great. Means we need to heal 6 next turn. I prefer people that are looking to support my content the best watch my archives on YouTube as opposed to watching the Twitch VODs. And the reason for that is YouTube tends to have more offline content in general, and the more people that watch a YouTube VOD, the more likely YouTube is to recommend it to people that haven't seen my stuff before.
Deadly paths, just another day in Targon. The sun's out, the crowd's ready. Let's wreck it! Yikes!
Jinx is very scary.
Stand back. I'll protect you.
Swain is leveled. We're hoping to find a meteor shower here.
Bask in her radiant
Never forget, this stream is pre-recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.
I brought my books. Hope that's all right.
Do not play Jinx as your last card. Do not play Jinx as your last card. Don't do it. Have a heart. Yes. Holy crap, chat. Their last card wasn't Jinx, and their last card wasn't, it wasn't Jinx, and it wasn't, Augmenter. What is going on? Yeah, no Experimenter, no Jinx? Is their deck broken? I don't understand.
Hypothesized.
Another obstacle. A conquest for Empire!
19 out of 12, thanks to our broadback protectors.
Empire above all!
Above all.
The few for the many. Leave them nothing.
Oh, that lets this block. Rude. Okay, I might as well attack that, right?
You're disrupting my research.
So, bunch of their things are going to end up stunned here from Swain Leviathan. And again, just really good example of the kind of 1-2 punch this deck is capable of setting up, where we stabilize the board early with our Daybreak cards, and then as the game goes long here, oh, I forgot they had the challengers. I should have Morning Lighted. That's fine. I don't think it matters. Yeah, these are surviving, so they're gonna get stunned, but technically should have Morning Lighted there to start.
History will remember us.
Will remember us. Oh, they're just dead to 2 passes. Yeah, that's true. Boat just gets them. All right, I need to run to the restroom really quick. We're nowhere near done with this deck. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in just a second. So, people that are my regulars know that I've mentioned before that I stream from a basement, and I have an egress window because this is technically a basement bedroom, and normally I can see, like, well, not normally, but previously I could see when it was like snowing or raining, so it would come down into the egress opening. But we got caps for the top of all of openings this summer. So my one connection to knowing what's going on in the outside world while I'm working is now gone, chat. I'm just locked in down here, and I have no idea what to... I know if it's night or dark, but that's it. Yeah, no more rabbits getting stuck in the egress window, exactly. I think I'm actually mulliganing Leona here, too, looking for a 2-drop. Yeah, people that were here last year knew we had a rabbit jump down in there at one point.
Ours is the one true light.
Nice, great, Nostro. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I am a basement dweller. I have a very nice basement, though. I live in the Midwest, where houses and land are cheap.
I have
My basement is fully finished and has almost 9-foot ceilings in it. So, for example, I'm standing and I'm a little over 6 foot. I don't know if you can really tell the perspective by looking at the camera, but it's tall. It's tall. I can't touch the ceiling down here.
Six pride. This will shake up.
There's a literal cornfield behind my house. Really, when I did the full mulligan looking for 2-drops, this is why. Really needed a 2-drop here. Yeah, the fact that I don't have a play this turn will likely be the death of us. They're gonna get a lot of damage in from the fact that I guess I have this into this. Could be our saving grace. You ever mess with Teemo Fizz? Yeah, we played that a bunch. M-Tuck, I think I agree with you that archetype is very reasonable.
Roads are full of dangers, but I know them all.
I know them all.
Time for the main event.
I agree with you. They feel very good as far as elusive aggro decks go. You're a little late to the party, House Spider. Thankfully, we've got some healing going on. Looking to dodge Noxian Fervor here. Well, I guess they stun this, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, the fact that I didn't have a play on 2 or 3 is very likely going to lose us this.
Don't touch my flock. Awning, take you.
Yep. And then unfortunately, because I played this Noxian Fervor here, it means I don't have Daybreak for this. So I can't Golden Sisters next turn now. There's a good chance we just get burned out from here at 7. Yeah, they're a Decimate deck as well. Yeah, the fact that I didn't have a play on turn 2 or turn 3 meant that we took almost double-digit extra points of damage this game. So, I'm pretty happy with all the decisions that I made this game, but sometimes you make all the choices and still lose. That's life.
Won't find better this side of the sun.
If our 5-4 lifesteal had been able to connect, we might have been able to pull through there. But the fact that they were able to stop that from happening was a big deal. Reddit told me this deck was unplayable now. Come on, opponent. We keep this as a way to kill Twisted Fate. My deck is confident that I want Zenith Blade. We play 2 copies of them, and my deck is like, Jeff, no, trust me, you want Zenith Blade. This card's really bad in this matchup. They don't play any landmarks, and they don't... I guess they have the thing that deals damage to the road unit that sometimes this trades down with. You almost never trade up on resource efficiency with this card this matchup, though. Makes it fairly mediocre. No reason to attack this into their 2-1. This can block here and this can block here, but if I attack with it proactively, they dictate how the trade happens, which isn't ideal for me.
Don't know much, do ya?
Ding, ding, ding. I wonder if I was supposed to Zenith Blade this, expecting go hard off the keg here. Can see that being a reasonable play this turn. Take 2. Get to play Broadback Protector out here, start getting our life back, which is great.
Everyone here, let's go.
Let's go.
I'm always up for a round or two. Soak it in.
This is explicitly why we were holding on to Death's Hand. I'm pretty happy if they trade any other things for this. For putting damage on here.
Stand back.
Keep up, keep up.
I think it's important that I Death's Hand this now, because if they have another Twisted Fate and they pick a card this turn, they could level this next turn before I can kill it, and level Twisted Fate is definitely one of the ways I lose this game. And with Daddy Pharaon rolled up in hand here, I would like to, yeah, like if they went pick a card and then had Glimpse next turn, they'd level this. Hey, Non-Dweeks, thanks for the 4 months. If you enjoyed my old fairies content, and you haven't checked out Zoe Fizz, I would highly recommend it.
Some time.
Another path, another problem.
If you Leona, it's random between Twisted Fate and Zapray. I think Strongest assigns value to keywords. I don't think it lists it, but I believe it does, so I think it prioritizes Zap, but I'm not 100% on that. Enya, thank you for the 26 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. 0 daybreak so far this game. All right, let's get started on that, huh? Let's get to work. Opponent's got a lot of cards in hand here. Daddy Pharaoh's gonna have to do some heavy lifting this game.
There's nothing to fear.
But basically, Pharaons and boats are all we want to draw at this point. Once we get to the point where we have 8 mana, we just want to draw our 8 drops. That's an established archetype, gamer. That's one that Bruised by God worked on a good bit of early in the season. It is in the deck queue. We're going to be playing it at some point soon. So kind of punished for playing my Ravenous block early. Could have flocked this instead of flocking their 2-1 last turn. Perhaps should have waited on that.
We playing bilge rules, son? I don't change fate. Let that get
Daylight Spear here does a great job of letting us work towards leveling this up ASAP. And hey, actually, Eclipse Dragon's a great generation here as well. This is their second go hard.
raise your weapon, Sunward.
Well, I think we're supposed to Zenith Blade Daylight Spear here so he doesn't die to Pack the Bags.
A beam of light pierce the heavens. Behold the divine power of the sun.
Let's do this.
So I'm going to block aggressively with all of my things like this that we're gonna die to Pack the Bags anyways. I'll block this here because that block means it's still not dying to Pack. Just want to preserve my life total and trade boards whenever possible here, I think. I think we just open and like try and get trades. Yeah, we hooked this with the Overwhelm unit and like we offer to trade these down because again, while they're threatening Pack the Bags, trading down is ideal whenever possible. They always have music on while running Runeterra. This is the Runeterra music, Enya. This is the music from the game board, and I can click here and change the music from the game board. Does them attacking into your board make it less likely they have? It does, but their deck draws a lot of cards. They're gonna find it eventually. I think the play here is Zoe into Eclipse Dragon.
Twister never loses because Zoe makes them loses.
I did also, something I did, a few people have commented on the music. I actually pulled down the sound effects and dialogue and left the music up, so I think the music's a little bit quiet in this game by default. And it's so good. I want to hear it. How does a dragon work with Always Sunny? You get both triggers. You get Daybreak and Nightfall. In other words, it works exactly how we want it to. Junebug, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Hoaglandia.
Feel me in. Eyes open.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield.
Okay. Is 5 cost pack your bags enough of a nerf? I think so. The opponent's archetype is still going to win plenty of games of Runeterra. If 5 cost pack your bags is not enough to kill the archetype, so if you were hoping that it was enough to kill their deck, then it's not enough for you. So I have enough to Zenith Blade plus Captain Fair on this turn.
Gotta go with the flow.
Which sounds great. Out of my way. So they're going to 12 here, right? They're going to 4, they're taking 12? Yep, they're ready to pack our bags again. The question is, can they gain life and not die to these decimates? Really, really close game here. The siege has been ended, chat. I think I full mulligan looking for our Scorched Earths here.
There's a chill in the air.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Clad in shining sunlight. I'm gonna go ahead and open attacks here, so this way if they play Plaza, I can kill it before they get any value off of it. J-Rank and Leave Storm, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel, folks. Good afternoon. So if they don't open attacks, we'll Leona. If they do open attacks, we'll Broadback Protector.
I've always got your back.
Don't worry about me. Daylight breaks on the battlefield. Behold the sun's holy light.
Sure. Go to 17, no blocks. Time is now!
Of daybreak.
Alright, Fog resolves. I guess this technically levels Lucian as well.
I'll sleep when they're dead.
It does level their Lucian too, you're not wrong. This is gonna level my Leona though.
My faith protects me.
And if they decide to develop more before attacking, I get to Zenith Blade and stun their double attacker.
You cannot sway me. Blessings from the sun.
Hey, Noxpox. Keep it up, Jeff. Love that you're having fun playing what you want. Thank you for the very generous tier 2 and for the 2 years of support. Thanks for making it possible. I think I'm into Zoe here because if she can fish up an Equinox for us next turn, that would be very good. So that was the best draw on the deck, and it's not particularly close, right? I am serious. Thanks for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I don't know what the cut is, but I do think there's a real chance that, like, playing actual Morning Light is correct in this deck. Oh, hey, I missed it, LeCarp. Thank you for the tip. I'll get that one added to the queue after I'm done today. Yes, I will definitely add some new cards to it too. We are playing 3 fair. Oh no, we're on 2 fair. We're on 2 fair on 3 boat. Honestly, the one of 5-4 that life steals could be it.
Oh yeah.
One problem I have with your tier of ranking system is you'll only be able to emote from not playing a certain amount. I think you have a missed word in there. Are you saying that people that haven't played for a little bit shouldn't drop down in rank? Because I think that that's very reasonable. That's how most ranking systems work. Why does Morning Light double trigger stun with Leona? Because it's a Daybreak card that also activates all Daybreak abilities. Oh, demote. You should only be able to demote from not playing a certain amount. No, I think the current D ranking amount is reasonable. All right, let's see if a Daybreak curve can beat the bad guy, huh? Demote makes sense. Upward facing. Thanks for the follow. Dubs Zenith Blade. Mediocre.
Bless the faithful and fear the heretics.
If you hit Masters, you shouldn't be able to go below Plat. I think that's strictly true. You also want people to be able to play too, right? I don't think, hey, you hit Masters, now suddenly you're never going below Platinum is a system that makes sense. I would disagree that that's a system that I would think is reasonable.
Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't understand, silly.
Illuminate the land.
Behold the sun's holy light.
Do you have a sparkle fly? A sparkle fly, a sparkle fly. Not.
Unwavering strength.
They have Pale Cascade here. They can trade with Leona. It's fine. Not the end of the world. We'll get to Priest or Shield Bearer into Fervor, kill their Zoe next turn, which is nice. I'll hold on to this for now. Wait and see what they do before I make a decision with what I want to invoke. Terrible pickup.
Looking into the future, I see purple.
That's a touch unfortunate. I think that means I have to Fervor now. Aggressive strike sounds great. Invoke for stun? Nah, I don't think so. I think I'd rather just kill their thing.
Try my hand with Noxus Rise.
We have mana to Zenith Blade this.
Not die as Nayu.
I made my choice long ago.
Yeah, killing their Zoe while they don't have any mana for protective spells is ideal, I think.
We are at war.
Hate killing their Mentor of Stones, but can we die this turn? 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we're dead. I guess this can roll us. This can roll a stun. Equinox means we take 2 attack off of their Lee Sin.
Prepare yourself.
The part where they Pale Cascade this, that make it impossible for me to race. No, Pale Cascade is big. I agree, Hyper. It's really dumb. My opponent could have dealt the full 18 there. If I hadn't silenced this. Like, they had the cards face up that if I didn't silence this, they would have 18'd us with the Zenith Blade. I mean, that's actually an incredible draw, right? Because it kills this and then stuns Lee Sin. We might sneak this out. Till we get denied.
Their time has come.
Okay. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Alright, so I think it's actually correct to Shield Bearer and Zenith Blade my Shield Bearer here. Oh, Pale Cascade. I was thinking about him getting stunned by Concussive Palm, but you're right. We should play around Pale Cascade. Not all of these decks play Concussive Palm, and when they do, they don't play 3 of them. Yeah, this is definitely the play. Was not thinking about Pale Cascade. I should have been. Hush is also, we're also not great against Hush.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
Hush is a card they could have and not have played yet.
Such little life.
Are we ever beating Hush? Yeah, I think so. We could have forced them to block with this in that event too. In the event of that. Leona would have been our best possible draw there. We missed.
Conflict is all in the mind. As the dragon wills.
So we're dead to Pale Cascade. We're dead to a +2 attack.
Her light is our sword, her warmth our armor.
And this is again why I need to stop ignoring myself and just concede these games. Yeah, they're just really fucking dumb.
This is
Just like playing a whole game like that, where like we had back and forth and both players had decisions, and like we kept our life total high, and then we just go from 18 to nothing in one turn with no interactive possibility. We'll concede to that if we run into it anymore today. It's a very, very unsatisfying experience. Keep all again, the rest of these looking for curve here. I mean, all good decks can win games even if they're played poorly. Good decks have powerful draws.
Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't understand, silly.
Never not the thermo beam.
Oh, dizzy.
So, just making Lee Sin more difficult to level doesn't change the fact that he fundamentally feels fucking terrible to play against.
Raise your weapon, Sunwind.
I think if they just adjust numbers on Lee Sin or do something like that where he's more difficult to level, that's a really big miss. The problem is, again, like we talked about it to death on this channel, but like the fundamental problem with Lee Sin is that he has built-in protection, he's in the same region as Deny and Nopify, and he can take you from 20 to 0 in one turn. Can 20 me in one turn, gets to protect itself and is in Ionia. Pick one. Don't do both.
Follow the horizon.
The party has arrived.
The stone walls.
Clad in shining
Draven nicely. If they want to spend like a spinning axe plus a mystic shot to attack through this, I'm okay with that. How is this deck doing? Very reasonable. This is one of the many Runeterra decks that's up on my website. Outside of being salty that Lee Sin is Lee Sin, it's been a good set. I'm just gonna go ahead and Swain here, start pressuring with that. They have Chump Wump, I'm a little bit sad because then I don't want to attack it anymore, but if they don't have something like Chump Wump or some treasure, Swain's gonna get to attack here, which is nice. It would make him slightly different from Violacarp because he needs other things to enable him. Eight mana beam on my Swain also kind of feels like a win to me. Oh, I clicked okay. This should have attacked. I missed 3 points of damage. That's a big misclick. right, let's take a deep breath. We're still a little bit tilted from Lee Sin being Lee Sin. Shake it out. A day spear here, and then next turn we can go like stun something, get a decent attack in. Yeah, that's fine. It's one of like 800 changes they can make to him, Carlito. Just make it so he doesn't combo kill. You can throw a dart and a board full of ways that you can make him not combo kill, and any of them would be fine. Okay, so with Always Sunny dead, I think we play to go a little bit longer now, especially with this in my hand. So we'll Priestess, generate some card advantage. Gosh, I was kind of hoping... I'm just taking Falling Comet for like their Pharaon. I was kind of hoping for a Meteor Shower there, because Meteor Shower kills both their champions. So again, random digit. If you listen to what I'm talking about, and this is one of the reasons why this is a good thing about Runeterra, nothing that I have said about Lee Sin has to do with his power level, and anybody that thinks I'm making a power level argument isn't actually listening to the words that I'm saying. My complaint about Lee Sin is about the quality of gameplay that he generates and the type of play patterns that he creates. I agree with you. From a pure power level perspective, Lee Sin, it doesn't seem like it's a problem currently. If all you're doing is closing your eyes to how it feels to play your game, Lee Sin's probably fine. But the reason why Runeterra is one of the better games out there in terms of card games is because of their willingness to address things that fucking suck to play against. And it's actually really weird to me that Lee Sin still is what he is, because other things similar to him have been addressed, even if win rate doesn't imply that that's something that should be touched. The best example of this is what's the word I'm searching for? Ezreal Karma's a good example, but what's it called is a good example too. Unyielding Spirit. Unyielding Spirit was by no metrics overbearing and busted, but they adjusted it because the play patterns it created at burst speed mitigated the amount of counterplay that you had against it, and it sucked to play against. So I agree with you, Random Digit. I agree with the assertion that you're making, but the assertion that you're making also misses the point that is the crux of my argument and discussion.
Beautiful face.
Got to bait him into using an axe there. Daddy Theron's home. Do. Okay. Was Pharaon... So, once upon a time, Pharaon used to turn every card in your hand into a Decimate, as opposed to just creating you Decimates. So, your memory isn't wrong, he used to be really bad.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it. The dawn has arrived. Bask in the light's radiance.
Because he always statted like that. I don't know if he had different stats at one point or another. He's been his current stat line since I started playing 8 months ago. I think Lee Sin being a combo card is fine, Windowhead. I just think if it's a combo card, you need to be able to interact with it. You are correct that there is a quote from Steve Rubin saying he's happy that Lee Sin combo kills people. That is accurate. That is something that the live design lead said. All right, so Leona's about to get flocked here. That's fine. Pretty good tri-beam hit.
Devotion to battle.
I'm happy with this trading for either of these, so we'll take the attack. Our hand at this point is actually pretty mediocre. We're hoping to draw Leviathans or Pharaons at this point. Day Spears, also pretty reasonable, things that generate card advantage. We might be able to run our opponent down this game, maybe.
My faith protects me.
Yikes. This is one of the decks that's been up on my website for a while, Moon Boots. I think we're just doing this and taking a hit this turn. Taking 12 here, down to 8. Trade with this. They have a random sea monster in their hand. He'll steer still 2 from this. That's terrifying. Well, I don't think we're beating that. Triple tri-beam. Triple tri-beam will get it done. A lot of 2-for-1s. A lot of 2-for-1s. They did get beamed 3 times. You're not wrong. Submission off the website with updates. I think is this card for cards on the site? I think it's pretty close, if not exactly. The deck lists on the website are kept up to date. I'm pretty sure we're card for card what's on the site. It looks like it's card for card what's on the site. You have Zoe in this one. Zoe's on the website. Looking at it right now. I'm gonna keep Death Sand against the Lucian deck. Yeah, the problem, evaluating deck lists based on what people higher tier on the ladder are doing means you don't have enough control variables. You don't have enough monkeys slamming into the typewriter to get accurate data without lots of noise.
It's my time.
Statistically significant sample sizes are the most important way to evaluate things statistically. Because the argument of this deck is hard to play falls off or the argument of people made mistakes while playing this deck or not in order to determine power level means that there's people running good and running bad with it as your sample sizes get larger. As my Spider Stonewalls their 1 and 2 mana play. Yeah, there's a lot of elitism among card game players, and this idea that, like, because they ground to a higher rank that they're better than other people. It's real nonsense bullshit for the most part.
Raise your weapon sunward.
My gun does the talking.
Here's a lukewarm take. Something that card game players don't talk about or consider often enough is card game players will regularly upset that good players with good decks can do poorly on occasion due to variance, but the inverse of that is true as well. Bad players with good decks can do well on occasion, especially when they're just constantly slamming into a ladder.
Follow the horizon.
And while doing well on the ladder system could be indicative of that you are a good player, it by no means does it guarantee it.
Approach, savage.
Lodo Rot, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Got fine with this pass here, huh? Must have had somewhere to go. Yeah. In order, you need a purely skill-driven game, and you would need the amount of games you play to be a non-factor. Are we gonna make it to Diamond? Probably not. That's fine. I'm happy with where we exist, chat. My rank. I don't attach my self-worth to a rank. Trundle, a Soul. Okay, I'm gonna mulligan these two. I think I'm gonna keep the 2-3 for a decent Leona curve here. Look at that, decent Leona curve. Rats, it wasn't our 1-drop on 1. Never lucky. Probably playing a Targon's Peak deck.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Guaranteed to be a Targon's Peak deck, so would like to draw a Scorched Earth.
Scorching light.
Yeah, but like, so the problem with your assumption there, M-Tuck, is that you're making the assumption that the decks are automatically being played optimally when they're played at the higher rankings, and that thinking is fundamentally flawed. And the easiest way to say that without even talking about player skill is, again, think of how often you are playing Runeterra personally, and Runeterra is the only thing that you are doing. You're playing Runeterra, and 100% of your focus is focused on Runeterra. The answer to that question is probably not very often, I would imagine.
Shining gifts from the sky.
People are frequently playing video games while also doing something else, whether it's having family in the background or all these other things that contribute to being distracted on occasion. And like experience and looking at data and having a human touch to help you mitigate outliers is valuable in general, because being able to mitigate outliers by having experience looking at the data set, knowing when to discredit outliers when they could tell something more, is really valuable. But yeah, that's all I got. But yeah.
I am the boldest work against darkness.
Is like this idea that there's like this pinnacle where perfect play exists, especially on something as low stakes as ladder where people are frequently distracted, is very silly.
Behold the sun's holy light.
Sure, but so you're assuming 2 random top 50 players are likely to play close to the optimal than 2 random plat players, but sure, but your implication there is that
To me,
what's the best way to put it? If players are playing similarly levels of inoptimal, it's gonna balance things out. So like this idea that like so if your base assertion is at most parts of the ladders people playing are of equal skill level, then your base assumption is that whatever mistakes are made are being made similarly on both sides. Well then, Jeff, that's what I mean. The deck is hard to play, so if there's more mistakes in this deck, then it's going to have a worse win rate than other decks that are easy, smooth-brained, low IQ decks to be playing. And that is also elitist for a different reason, where people who are full of bullshit can't comprehend that all decks take skill to play. And that's elitism in a different way, where players are elitist because of the types of decks that they play. I'm a big brain Leeson player. My deck's hard to play. It's not like one of those low IQ aggro decks. One of those no skill, need to get good scrub aggro decks.
Warriors of the Raharata, time is now.
will follow
I
you.
think it's Death Sand this Dorko, which is nice.
Bask in the light's radiance.
I mean, I don't think, for the record, I don't think it's an unfair assertion to say the average game between 2 high Masters players is gonna have fewer mistakes than the average game between 2 Platinum players. I don't think that's inaccurate. I think that is a reasonable position to have, for the record. The thing I take issue with is the idea that these good decks are fundamentally harder to play than other good decks in the format, because by and large, that's just not the case. The my deck is hard to play is something that people parrot because they want to make people feel bad about their deck decisions, generally speaking.
Sunlight blinds.
X decks are easy, I agree. It's usually the take of players who are either bad at playing those decks or they lost to that deck and they're looking to save face on their own ego. All right, well, that was the one card we couldn't beat. We needed them to not hit exactly the Sky's Descend off of target's peak. Our luck against this card has been absolutely fucking abysmal today. Just god awful every time we've run into it. I'm gonna play some Witcher 3. Viewers dropped off a little bit as expected as we move into the afternoon. If Seth, if you're still here, I will play your pick ban gauntlet tomorrow. As far as this deck is concerned, I'm really happy with this list. This is card for card what we started with on the website. You know, you're not going to win everything regardless of what you play. I think we had a good set of games in there despite some of the rough beats at the very end that kind of highlighted why or how the Daybreak package curving into our top end, along with Brought Back Protector to buffer our life total early, really allows us to keep ourselves alive and pivot into that top end closing power. One consideration we talked about is that playing an actual copy of Morning Light, and if you want to try that out, I could see it being okay over Sunforger. This card is very good in a lot of situations, and I wouldn't mind having an actual copy to draw on occasion, as opposed to just drawing Leona's Champion spell. Alright, at any rate, if you're new to the channel, in addition to doing a bunch of Runeterra stuff, I also do a lot of single-player, story-driven variety games. We're currently working through my first playthrough of Witcher 3. We've completed the main game and are working on the 2 DLCs now. or part way into one of those. So I'll be back with more Runeterra tomorrow morning, most likely. I need to talk to my wife and find out exactly when she wants me to stream this weekend and not. But I will post a schedule this evening on my Twitters.